Man, it's going to sound like I'm mimicking Rick's comments today, but I feel like it's very strong. In fact, just talk some economic numbers. When you look around the world at the demand for what we would consider commodity products, plastic, wood, paper, oil, gasoline, the demand is going up. Now, the people will have you believe, I don't know, we're going to a sharing economy, a low demand economy. Oil and gas is going to go down in demand. And we've been talking about this for 5 years. It's just not happening. In fact, it's accelerating. So if the demand for something is accelerating and other places around the world are producing it less, then we're only in a good position. And that is just the reality. That's just the facts, that other places around the world, like, let's stop producing plastics, let's get out of the refining business, let's get out of oil production. And so where are they going to get it from? It's going to be us. And I think our complex, this region and specifically this industry around the country is going to thrive. I'd say for the next 5 years, we're in really good position, even with the recession coming, that I think will show us some headwinds. We'll be one of the strongest segments of the U.S. economy that there is. And let's say that this way, net, everyone would say we'd rather, even though, yeah, sure, it's good for corporate profits, it's good for jobs in the region, it's good for our region, even our export capacities in a lot of ways. We'd all wish that still wasn't happening, right? Like this isn't in anybody's long-term interests. So what makes me excited about this is that people know that. If you rewind to other events like this that happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that sort of thing. In fact, I'll use an example. In the 1970s, when the Middle East oil embargo drove the price of oil through the roof, what companies did is they just started ramping up oil production like crazy. And then, of course, when that balanced out, those companies in the 80s experienced unprecedented decline, job layoffs, housing crises occurred. I mean, it was detrimental. These days, people are being more pragmatic. They're saying, let's position ourselves. Let's talk U.S. refining. U.S. refining right now, the last year has made record profits. Right now, the margins are a little slim, but they've made record profits. But instead of saying, oh man, let's just go gangbusters and blow all that money, they're being very judicious. Let's invest in making our facilities more efficient. Let's make them more reliable so that when margins eventually come back down, we're well positioned to thrive in that environment. So the way people are approaching this, it's not the Russia crisis itself that is exciting, interesting. It's how people are responding that gives me a lot of confidence. Well, I will say I'm in the minority in that I believe the recession is still, I thought it was coming 6 months ago, and we're sort of languishing in it a little bit, but unemployment numbers are real low, still inflation is high, so we're not seeing the recession in the way that in the urgency or the immediacy that I thought we would. I still think it's coming. I think it's going to be bad, and I think it's going to be longer than people think. So I'm a little bit more on the pessimistic scale, but I still say in this recession, we're going to have opportunity. So I still say it's not something to be afraid of, it's something to be aware of, and it's something to seize the opportunity in. As much as like I said, military crisis is one thing, but a natural recession that's been caused by overbuilding and oversupply, then twisted supply chain issues, which caused inflation, that recession is a natural correction. And so people who are thoughtful and plan will be in a really good position to not only weather that storm, but do really well coming out of it. So my position hasn't changed, although clearly the timing is getting pushed out. It's being delayed as government tries to soften the landing and adjust through inflation cuts and things like that. It always has. I mean, let's be candid. That flight has been going on 15 years. I mean, really, it's been that long that people have kind of looked up and said, man, if I like free markets, if I like, I don't like government control, if I like an entrepreneurial, low tax, low regulation environment, Texas was it. So literally for 15 years, people have been really, Governor Perry was talking about today, that man, when people have been coming to Texas in droves for over a decade, almost a decade and a half. And so we're seeing that continue. Why? Because man, if you want to start your own business, you want to have freedom of kind of low cost of living relative to other states, this is a place to do it. So it is a good signal, not necessarily about the future, but it's certainly a good signal about not that it's not a good signal about the future, but what? Signal that we're doing the right things now. This is a place people want to be. Yeah, good question. And the reason I say that is there are so many conferences out there. You could literally spend your full-time career doing nothing but going to conference after conference after conference when it comes to shipping and oil and gas and economic development, all of which happen here in one conference in one day. And it's very efficient. We get great content, a great swath of content. You have business leaders, executives, you have political leaders, you have entrepreneurs. The variation in that content is so strong and it's so efficient. And it's a great group. I mean, it's easy again, it's low cost. So I'm not bashful about the fact saying this is one of my favorite events of the year because it's done so well and the crowd is engaged, and yeah, just a great event. You can see why people come back year after year to this conference. So I think that the Economic Alliance and what we do, and I should say in full candor, I'm on the executive board now, which I haven't been in the past. And I'm on that because I think, man, to help the large companies in the area do their economic development, help the small companies in the area do business with those large companies in the area, help the government agencies understand that dynamic to do what they can do to create the infrastructure if needed, like port expansions, roadways, to even further that. Unique organization, unique influence, and a unique event to pull it all together.